Welcome back to the Blue Door Pub Thunderdome for another Bull with Andy Carlson, Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast, a show about everything and nothing 5 days a week. Sitting shotgun with nobody. We got Erika Fernandez of Black Sports Online coming in and telling us a little bit about her journey in sports media. Bull, tell a friend, spread the word. iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, bullshow.co. Make sure to give us a like, facebook.com/Bull Show. It's exciting. I really like Erika. And it's funny with social media nowadays where you can strike up a rapport and you can follow each other. You can interact with each other on Twitter, on Instagram, on Snapchat, whatever the kids are on nowadays. And you can, over a number of years, and then you feel like you know this person. And this is actually the first time that Erika and I have ever spoken. It's kind of crazy. It's how we interact now. I don't know if I like it, but then again, what are we going to do? You know, because that's where everything is headed. Because there will probably be, now I can see why Manti Te'o got catfished. That was 5 years ago, man. Yeah. Something you can do, too, is get around town with Lyft, bullshow.co/Lyft, LYFT. Download the app, and, hey, if you're getting around town, you need a ride, you're getting down to Target Field, those ramps, they're full. They gouge you. Just get right down to the field. They drop you off. Tuck and roll. We'll see you do that up. Bullshow.co/Lyft. And here's what we're doing. $15 off your first couple of rides just by downloading the app. So if you're in the Twin Cities, entire Twin Cities metro area, or many urban areas around the world, especially out in NYC. Wait, are they in NYC yet? I don't think they are. I should figure this out. Bullshow.co/Lyft. LYFT. All right, let's get to Erika. And coming back into the Blue Door Pub Thunderdome is Erika Fernandez. Follow her on Twitter at Curls and Sports on the Twitter and Instagram. Hey, friend. How's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
Yeah, I can't complain. Springtime is here. Baseball is underway, even though I don't really like baseball.
Of course.
Yeah, but either way, it's exciting.
That.
Yeah. But why don't you tell the people a little bit about your story? You work for Black Sports Online, love Robert, and also, little 1340 AM Fox Sports. Tell us about how you got to where you are.
Okay, so in college, I really wanted to do broadcast journalism. So I'm like, how is this going to work out?
Mm-hmm.
So I literally was just sitting on the edge of my couch and brainstorming with a legal pad and writing. I'm like, okay, I guess the only way to at least kind of build somewhat of a repertoire is through writing. So that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years. So my ultimate goal is to be on air. So with the power of social media and meeting a lot of people, networking events, it's crazy, especially Twitter. Twitter's such a tool for us. That's why I'm just so blessed that something like this exists. Because if it wasn't for that, I don't think it would have helped me at all advance.
Well, I mean, that's how we've met, and this is actually the first time we've ever spoken, but I feel like I know you, man.
I know, and I just want to squeeze your baby. She is so gorgeous. God bless. Oh, so cute.
Thank you very much. Yeah. You know, it's funny because the wife and I both have dark hair, and in certain lights, especially when it's really sunny out, Muggsy's hair kind of looks blondish. I'm like, wait a minute. Is that my baby? But then I look at her face, and then I'm like, oh, yeah.
The milkman.
But tell us about your beats. Are you covering the Nets this year?
I am. I'm covering the Nets. Actually, no, you said the Mets or the
Nets.
Sorry Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, the sorry Brooklyn Nets.
Well, for baseball right now, I'm still waiting for hopefully to get credentials anytime soon. It would be great if they let me in, but I'm still waiting. I'm playing the late game. But I guess I'll just be, probably just live tweet, engage with people. I guess that's the only way to kind of participate until I get to be there in the stadium.
What was it like covering the Brooklyn Nets?
To cover Brooklyn was very interesting. I could tell the difference because I also cover the Knicks, as you've obviously seen. It's smaller media, so it's a little more personal in a sense. So you kind of develop a relationship on first name basis They know you when you're walking through the door, which is really like a family environment. So you feel very, very welcome. So you're like, hi, how's it going? And it's like, oh, hey, yeah, I remember we spoke last game. How's everything? What do you have for me today? An example. But it was a really, really good experience.
Do you think Brooklyn, the Nets, will ever grab the toehold away from the Knicks, or is NYC always going to be a Knicks town?
Oh, no, New York City is always going to be a Knicks town. Even when the Nets play the Knicks in Brooklyn, you can tell that so much more Knicks fans are in Barclays Center. Even, like, you could just tell by the jerseys, by the fan engagement, and overall the seats. There's more orange and blue out there than there is black and white.
Yeah, that's a little frustrating, too, because the Knicks have been so bad and, like, irrelevant and just borderline comedic since probably Allen Houston, Sprewell, Camby, those sort of days.
Yeah, I remember. I've been schooling myself a little bit more. My older brother, he's a huge Knicks fan. That's the only reason why I really remember all this beef that was going on and how many times I remember. I'll never forget, especially like the '99 finals. He was borderline upset at how, like, they just came crashing down and they lost to the Spurs. But meanwhile, my other brother, who's a big Spurs fan, I remember they were fighting. I must have been like, I remember I was in 5th grade just watching them go at it over sports. And I get it. I'm just like, damn, like, I hope that they win just for his sanity's sake one day.
It's fun with that whole passion that can incite people to get into it. Hell, even going physical, getting fisticuffs going on. What teams are you passionate about?
Oh, well, I actually took after one of my brothers. I'm a big Spurs fan, and there's not a lot of us out in here in New York. So when you kind of tell somebody you're a Spurs fan, they're like, how did that happen? I'm like, well, let me tell you how it happened. But definitely have to thank one of my brothers for that. And another situation, which is I'm a terrible Mets fan because it's like it could be a little bit ignorant at times, but I control myself. But also attributed to watching games with my other brother. But and then with Giants, I guess they don't really take after football, but Giants are definitely my team. My brothers, I guess it's just really where I got sports, was sitting with my brothers and watching it. I had nothing better to do when they were tired of Disney movies. So it's like, okay, time for us time. There's a good 7-year gap. So while I was 5, they were obviously 15, in their teenage years. So they could watch whatever they want, and they're like, okay, enough Beauty and the Beast. Let's watch some Mets, please, for our sanity. But they were never really into football. But I took after football on my own.
You've been way spoiled on the basketball side, kind of barren on the baseball side.
I know. I would say it's been tough being a Mets fan. Like, I remember a few friends of mine that they knew not to talk to me, especially when they lost to the Royals, because I was really, really upset. But I think, I don't know, I know this might be a little bit of a stretch, but I think I was more upset at Carlos Beltran in 2006 than I was at them losing the World Series. And I remember I had this conversation with my dad, and my dad's like, how could you even compare? And I'm just like, I guess because he didn't do anything. I guess I'm still holding a grudge.
Do you think that, say you get credentialed, you're at Citi Field every single day, do you think it would be a bit of a grind covering your favorite team? And do you think that will take away a little bit of the luster, the passion?
No, I think I could be still a professional, because ultimately that's why we all got into this industry. Like, you're a big sports fan. I'm a big sports fan. But at the same time, when it comes to work, like, you're going to be like, okay, David Wright, why are you still playing third base? Why?
They're just hanging on to the past.
I know. It's been tough, and it's like I wasn't even alive when they won in '86. So I'm here like, damn, can I just see them win once in my lifetime? Like, so many, for example, like the Cubs, so many Cubs fans have come and lost. But here I am. I'm still waiting for my chance.
Would you be worried or put off by bandwagon Mets fans if they took it down? Like there's so many lifelong Cubs fans around now, it's kind of sickening.
It really is. But I don't know if I'm sure you saw the poll. There's this, it's a newspaper it's like one of those New York City online newspapers that came out with a poll that said that more New York City fans are now Mets fans and Yankee fans. And
Whoa.
I'm just like, who did they talk to? Because I completely disagree.
Yeah, I don't think that's right at all. And
Exactly. Because it doesn't make any sense. Like, maybe growing up, like, during my older brother's era, which was the 80s, he told me, he's like, the 80s were strictly Mets. He's like, no one was wearing Yankee stuff because everyone was beefing with the Yankees. But then came the 90s. He's like, I'll give it to them. Now he's like, and even now, he's like, there's no way in hell there's more Mets fans in this city more than there are Yankee fans.
Yeah. What's your take on Matt Harvey?
I really like him. You know what it is? My problem with him is probably the Collins. I think he's such a yes man, and he should have taken him out many times instead of just leaving him on the mound. So I think I attribute like a little bit of his decline to Collins. I like him though, but it's kind of tough. I just want to see Harvey do well, but if he leaves the team, which many Yankee fans are very, very passionate, they want him to go to be in pinstripes rather. I wouldn't be upset because overall, like, you're trying to win. That's it. But I'd be a little upset deep down inside.
He seems like kind of a space cadet.
A little bit. And then the whole Dark Knight thing.
Yeah.
It's a little bit. I'm just like, where did that even come from? Like, it's a lot of Marvel stuff now. Like, it's in regard to Thor. And then they're just taking all these Marvel characters, which is pretty cool because it's more inviting for other people. I'm like, oh, okay, I see that he does kind of look like Thor because of his blonde hair. So, if anything, it's more engaging.
Yeah, but Harvey and the Dark Knight, you can't give yourself a nickname, man. That's weak.
I know. You kind of have to let it. It was very like George Costanza. I don't know if you watched Seinfeld.
Oh, yeah.
But remember when he wanted to name himself T-Bone? That's what it reminded me of. And I'm here like, you really can't give yourself a nickname. I totally agree with you on that.
We should call him Robin, just as retribution.
I agree. But I've seen him at the Garden a couple of times, and he's a very, very quiet guy. He kind of just speeds through. He just shows up and leaves. But from what I could tell, like, I think he's a winner aspect, but, you know, they have all the talent on that team, and they just can't figure it out.
Now, being in New York, you're able to cover a lot of fun events, a lot of fights. I even saw you were at the 30 for 30 premiere and got to meet He Hate Me.
That was a lot of fun.
What? That's crazy.
It was. You know what's funny? I remember when I heard of the XFL, it was in the 7th grade. So I'm here like, what is this? And at the time, I wasn't still into football. So I'm like, oh, okay, it's something wrestling change.
Yeah.
But when I remember I saw the trailer that it premiered last year, I'm like, oh, this is what I remember. So I started schooling myself on what this was. And I remember my younger brother was huge. And probably still is, but more, no. Anyways, that's not the topic. But he was heavy into wrestling. And he's like, oh, this is going to be so cool. Oh, my God, like they're going to totally just kick it back to NBC. But seeing the whole documentary unfold, like you just were like, wow, like this was a disaster from beginning to end. But seeing all the numbers in front of you and all the data, it just really, really was astonishing that it wasn't a little bit more of a success.
Do you think a league like that could fly now with the whole concussions and painkillers being in the news?
I don't think so. And I think if it is, I think we would see more guys pushing steroids and doing all these things that protects their body more, but obviously affects other parts of their body. I think it would come down to a lot of experimentation that we wouldn't want, and probably more stuff would come out from besides concussions. Yeah,
but how awesome would it be?
It would be pretty cool. Like, do you think it would survive in this era?
I think there would be a market for it where it would be a much narrower audience, much more niche, because you think of the MMA and the barbarity in there, but it's still a very popular sport because there's still biologically, like in the back of our minds, there's still that little caveman area that we love. Blood, guts, gore, like Romans and the gladiators. And I actually do think that a YOLO whatever all the players on steroids and HGH, well, more than HGH now in the current NFL, and just headhunting, sign the waiver, take the ride, football league. I think it could actually do well.
Yeah, but I'm sure that you saw the documentary, like seeing how it started. I think it was a really great idea from the get, but I don't think they were prepared for all the injuries that came from within first couple minutes of the opening game.
Yeah.
So had they maybe had a little bit more of time and a little more timing, like everything was super rushed. That's what I did realize.
Mm-hmm.
But if they had thought about it more, like maybe at least, planned it out between a 1 to 2 year span, maybe it would have lasted a couple more seasons rather than barely a season.
It's a little crazy too, is that a way to reduce traumatic head injuries in football would be to take away the helmet.
You think so?
Yeah, because you look at rugby, and it essentially same amount of contact as there is in football, and there's fewer traumatic head injuries or fewer issues of CTE because when you're tackling, you're protecting your grill. You're protecting the face. You're not leading with the crown of your helmet of your head, because if you have a helmet, that becomes a weapon.
That's true.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
We'll start a all HGH steroid league with no helmets. What can go wrong? You and me, we're doing this.
Like you said, a big YOLO league.
All right, two more questions, then we'll get you out here. I know you got a heart out. What's the favorite? What's your favorite thing that you've covered so far? Whether an event, a story, interview, what? I
think my favorite event must have been the diversity summit with the MLB. They're in I think it's called the symposium, to be, to use the proper terminology. They have I think it's in its 5th or 6th year. And I remember I covered it, and it was a little bit of an eye opener. And obviously, you're from, Asian background as well. We don't really see anyone that looks like us. So it's hard to identify with other media. We kind of stand out in a sense. So, Robert Manfred was there, and I figured it was going to be a bigger press. So when I went in, I remember I spoke to the commissioner at the time. She's no longer with the league, and she's like, you can get a chance to talk to the commissioner. I'm like, okay. So I'm expecting at least 20 people, and it was just 4 people, 3 older gentlemen and myself.
Wow.
So So it's like, just to give you a sense of how empty that room was, but at the same time, how full it was, Like that room spoke volumes. And I remember sitting there and I'm just like, where's my voice? Like I wasn't able to make it out. Like what exactly, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the perfect opportunity for me to ask so many things. And I wasn't able to find my voice. And I'm just like, Erika, you have to talk. Erika, you have to speak. And I finally managed to ask a couple of questions, but it was very, very intimidating in a sense. It was the only time I really felt that way, because I hadn't seen, we've read about it, how we're always a minority, we don't really identify with anyone, but it was in that exact room, in that exact moment, that you kind of really saw for the first time in your eyes, like, wow, there's really no representation in the league. That's why the league isn't on decline. And I hate the term, they need urbanization. I hate the term because I feel like it's just pinpointing at a couple of ethnicities. And if anything, it should just be like they just need younger people in a sense. And you could just tell based on who's working there. I mean, they paid their dues. So are we in a sense. But at that time, I'm just like, oh, my God, I can't find my voice. I was sitting back and I'm like, okay, you have to ask a couple of questions. You cannot leave this room just sitting there and recording. You're not a videographer. You're a journalist. Ask a question. And that's how it started to, fluid. And then the commissioner at the time, not the commissioner, the VP, she's like, I'm so happy you spoke. You don't understand. Like, you just represented so many people at one point that people wanted to be in this room. And I'm just like, you don't understand how hard it was for me to say a question.
Now, do you feel a little bit more weight on your shoulder as a female, as a minority, when you're coming up through the media game?
That's a good question. I feel like it's a little bit of both.
Maybe weight's not the best term, but you feel like you have to represent. You have to do well so you can help pave the way for others coming after you.
Definitely. And I'm contributing to a lot. Like, there's a lot of people out there who need help, and I'm the type that if you're willing to work for it, I'm definitely going to help you out no matter what. You can always count on me. But if you're just going to, I don't want to say use me, but that's the best term I could think of right now. If you're just going to use me for contacts or, to slide into someone's DMs, that's not the way I was raised, and that's not the way hard work works.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I have noticed that a couple of times I am the only female in the room, and at the same time I'm the only minority. So I'm representing two huge worlds in one room.
Mm-hmm.
So I do feel the weight a lot, but at the same time it's good because it just shows that we're little by little trickling into it and, sliding into their rooms at the same time.
All right. Last one. What's the next step for you? Like, who's currently doing what you want to be doing?
Honestly, I really look up to Rachel Nichols.
Mm-hmm.
I got the chance to meet her, and I can't remember the game, but it was a Knicks game. And at the time, I think she was still with TNT, but I went up to her and I said hi. I saw her in the press room, and I'm just like, Rachel, you don't understand. Like, I'm just so excited to meet you. I've been seeing you since I was a teenager. Like, your work has inspired me, blah, blah, blah. We chat for a good 5 minutes. And I think that that's the caliber of a career I would love. Like, she's so respected. She doesn't see any color. She just sees sports, and she's just so welcoming that it just, like, that's exactly what I would want. Like, I want people to look beyond, my accent, which is inevitable, my looks, obviously I'm a female, and my background, I'm a minority. I just want people to understand that I'm a professional just like you.
Well,
so she's the ultimate goal.
Well, I think you're well on your way. Erika, thanks for coming on. And
thanks, Andy.
I always love bringing on people who hustle, people who put in the work, people who are on the upswing. And, because I'm in that same boat, too. And I feel like we can help each other out, hang together, and then we'll be the next generation. It's going to be good times.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to be the next generation, and I just hope that they're ready for us because we're not stopping anywhere.
If they're not, who cares?
I agree.
She's Erika Fernandez. Follow her on Twitter at Curls and Sports, all one word, Twitter and Instagram as well. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, Andy, for having me. Have a wonderful day.
And I say this a lot to the guests, where it's almost ad nauseum, but I always find people who aren't fake. There's a lot of fake entrepreneurs and Instagram influencers and media people where it's all about show, not about dough. Even though if they're in the media, they probably get too much dough, and there's not enough substance. It's all style, no substance. But the people who work, the people who bust their ass to put in good work, put out good content day in, day out, those are the people I respect. Those are people that I love, and those are the people that I want to get to know and have them on the show, get more exposure, pick their brains a little bit. And Erika is definitely in that group. Yeah, I love it. Something I also love is Amazon. It's the easiest way to support the show because you already do it, baby. Get on down there, bullshow.co/Amazon. It'll take you right to the home page through our link. Here's what you do. Drag that little link down to your bookmark bar every time you shop on Amazon. And, oh, by the way, you're going to buy Amazon Prime, because they got Thursday Night Football coming up this fall. Hello. Use our link. It helps us get a couple nickels in our pocket, and it costs you nothing extra. Something you already do. So just do that up. bullshow.co/Amazon. bullshow.co/Amazon. A little bit shorter show today, but that's life. We'll get on to it. Got a couple of things going on. A couple exciting things in the works. iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and Facebook.com/BullShow. And if you enjoyed Erika, enjoyed me, but really more Erika, spread the word. Tell a friend. Add to the Jerome Army. Thank you to producer Allie Sorensen for making me not sound so stupid today. But for Erika Fernandez, I'm Andy Carlson saying, and Young, sayonara, and bye-bye. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to Bull with Andy Carlson. Minnesota's 87th best daily podcast. Download the show on iTunes. Everyone's middle name is Jerome.
Andy Carlson here, Purple for the Win podcast, letting you know that we'll be here all off season long talking the Vikings angle on everything. Combine, pro days, free agency, the draft, OTAs, training camp in 2017. Baby. Get the show on 1500 ESPN, Podcast One, and the Podcast One app.